Good evening, this is TCN English News Edition, and you are watching with me, Ninghui Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. KIM rise to PM Modi, expresses strong objections over replacement of Assam Rifles. Kuki women folks of Kangwai and Turbung held protest, demands to revoke government order of withdrawing Assam Rifles. 300 killed in Kerala landslide, CM Vijayan says, nobody left to be saved. News in detail. The Kuki MP has submitted a memorandum to the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi requesting for urgent interventions and reconsiderations of replacing the Assam Rifles with the Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) in the Manipur region. The proposed plan to replace the Assam Rifles as demanded by the Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity (COCOMI) and without proper consultations and consensus with the local people is deeply concerning. The replacement of Assam Rifles, if done so, would implicate bias and partiality against our people, particularly in the context of the ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign involving the Manipur state government and the radical Meitei leadership against the Kuki-Zo community. It must be reiterated that the Valley-based organization has no right or responsibility beyond the buffer zones and can neither direct, decide, nor demand anything beyond their territorial bounds. The Kuki MP will not allow any unwarranted attempt for outside interference within our land. And the concerned government authorities must ensure that the security and administrative arrangement in the Kuki-Zo regards the will and sentiments of the Kuki-Zo people to ensure a sense of safety and security for our people. Moreover, the Assam Rifles, with its deep-rooted presence and experience in the Manipur region, has maintained a positive rapport with the local populations, with a long history of friendship, demonstrating trust and reliability. The CRPF, while a commendable force in its own right, may not possess the same level of familiarity with the local socio-political landscape and history, which could lead to unintended consequences and increased instability. In the light of these pressing concerns, the Kuki MP would like to appeal to all concerned to reconsider the replacement of Assam Rifles, which could exacerbate existing tensions. The Kuki MP herewith reiterate our strong objection to the subject matter and will not tolerate any element that undermines the will and aspirations of our people. Today at 11 a.m., we met in Kangwai staged a protest against the removal of Assam Rifles from the area. The protesters demanded that Assam Rifles should not be replaced with CRPF, and they believe their presence is necessary for peace. The protesters held placards that read, "Removal of AR is not the solution. Assam Rifles are not biased. Meitei people are the agitators, not the Indian army. And for peace to prevail, we must stand with the truth." They staged a sit-in protest to express their opposition to the removal of Assam Rifles. A women leader at the protest site said that they will continue to protest against the removal of Assam Rifles as their presence ensures peace in the area. She also warned that if Assam Rifles leave, the people will take back the land and everything on it that was donated for their establishment.
I'm Babak Vaipe from Kangwai village, and I'm the secretary of the Women Union Kangwai. Now, the reason why we gathered here is because we want to protest the central government's policy of deploying the Assam CRPF at Assam Rifle Kangwai. Point number one, we don't want any central forces to be deployed at Kangwai, Assam Rifle camp, because so far till today, denying Assam Rifle of Kangwai, they are neutral, and it's because of their presence that the surrounding area, as we have seen the buffer zone, is still safe and peace secure till today. And my second point is, we the Kangwai villagers and the surrounding areas, we are donating our land for the Assam Rifles only. We are not donating for the center for other center forces. So if the Assam Rifles of Kangwai are withdrawing from the soil of Kangwai, all the properties belonging to the Assam Rifles should be given to the public immediately. Thank you.
Similarly, in Turbong, a large number of Kuki women staged a protest against the removal of Assam Rifles from the area. They demanded that Assam Rifles not to be replaced with other central forces. Today's protest by women will continue until the government listens to their demands and addresses disconcertion about the removal of Assam Rifles from the area. They will not stop protesting until their demands are met. Today, on August 2, 2024, the Committee on Tribal Unity organized a protest in Kangpokpi district, where a large number of people from various CSOs gathered to protest against the upcoming visit of Biren to Senapati. The protesters demanded that Biren should not be allowed to enter Kuki-Zo land and that Assam Rifles should be removed from the area. During the protest, the people held placards with various slogans such as Assam Rifles is the only friends of the hills, no other forces. No true fear or fly zones on Kuki-Zo land for the Métis. No forced reconciliations between Kuki-Zo and rapist liars. AFSPA, the only solutions for law and order in Imphal. No true fear for murders, rapists, and infidels from Kanglei Park. The COTU has also announced that on August 3, 2024, they will observe the 50th Remembrance Day in Cedar Hills to honor the Kuki-Zo martyrs. The following programs have been announced. 1. On August 3, 2024, a silent rally will be held from Gamgipai to Martyr Cemetery, followed by a program at the cemetery. All shops, government offices, institutions and private institutions in Cedar Hills will remain closed on August 3, 2024. People are requested to wear black clothes and light candles as a mark of respect.
It will be in the interest of both the communities if the Chief Minister of Manipur stop his idea to pass through our Kuki-Zo dominated area. Enough is enough. The Kuki-Zo community will never ever accept the passage or the thoroughfare of the incumbent Chief Minister who has been the mastermind of mass genocide to pass through our land. Therefore, as a Committee on Tribal Unity, we would appeal the concerned authority and advise him not to pass through an area which is dominated by us. And in fact, what baffles us is that the current Chief Minister had met the Home Minister and complained about the Central Forces who is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So what does this entails you, Modi ji? What does it entails about the situation of Manipur, where your own man, the Assam Rifle, who has been known to maintain neutrality in discharging their duties throughout this conflict? And why do you plan to listen to him, to such a person who doesn't even trust you? Therefore, the people of Kuki-Zo community will never accept any other center forces which going to have a command of Biren at Imphal. We are not against any other center forces. If the center government, Home Ministry is hell-bent to appease the Métis community, let it be so. But the command should be from the center through imposition of 355. If you are scared of implementation of 356, then at least give us 355 so that we can have a trust in your own center forces. It is enough. Modi ji, look at the person who has lost you 2 seats in the parliamentary election. Why do you still listen to him? Isn't it enough the verbal attack in your parliament, isn't it enough to have this issue taken up by the opposition? It has, the Manipur issue has bind all the other party, like-minded party. Let this be a testament, and it is time that you stop giving him a leeway or goodies to a deluded leader such as N. Biren Singh. That is the reason why the Kuki Zo have resorted to demanding separate administration from Biren Singh, from the Meitei community who has no law, whose governance has made an allegiance to an armed militia. Please do not force the Kuki Zo community to be in such a government. That is the reason why we need a valid administrative setup within the Kuki Zo dominated area.
The COTU has appealed to all Kuki Zo people to participate in the program and observe the Remembrance Day. Today at 11 a.m., the second phase of the case handling out of Zang Nadopna project was held at Msungil Community Hall by the Kuki Women Organizations for Human Rights. The program was attended by Ngailun Kipgan, Vice President of KWOHR, Pastor L. Kutintang, and Hoi Neo, Financial Secretary of KWOHR. The keynote address was delivered by Ngai Nei Kim, President of KWOHR, who emphasized the importance of unity and solidarity among the Kuki people. She also highlighted the struggles faced by Kuki Zo women and the need for separate administration. The program also included a tribute to martyrs of the Kuki Zo struggle led by Reverend Gin Khan Mung, C.H. Azang Khongsai, President of the Kuki Impi Manipur KIM, also spoke at the event, emphasizing the need for a separate administration and expressing support for the Kuki Zo volunteers. The program concluded with a secretary report by Kim Nei Hoi Lungdim, Secretary of KWOHR, and a closing prayer by Evangelist Limboy Gangte. The martyrs remembered during the program were number 1, Lamila Khongsai, Go Zavung, Florence Hangsing, Olivia Hingnei Tim Jongloi, Lalthan Sang Pulamte, Kam Kugin Kipgen, Go Lal Sang, Hup Luntang Milund, Kam Lalian Vai Pei, Hau Min Tang Jongloi, Ngam Tang Lungdim, Zam Kolal Lungdim, Kam Milun Khongsai, Gin Kohen Haukip, Lam Nei Kam Vai Pei, Tangil Lun Lipeng, respectively. A devastating flood has hit Nazareth Bank into Ita village, causing extensive damage to properties and displacing numerous residents. The nearby areas have also been affected, resulting in significant inconvenience to the local population. According to reports, over 30 families have been impacted, with flood waters entering their homes and damaging their belongings. The people of Nazareth Bay and surrounding areas are facing immense difficulties due to the flood. SGO Psycho Jonathan Kom promptly responded to the situations by rushing to the affected areas and distributing relief materials including 7 bags of rice, 3 bags of dal, and 7 liters of oil to the affected families. Local authorities, including the VA and YVA, are working collaboratively to provide assistance to those affected. The YVA has also contributed relief materials to support the affected families. As the flood waters are expected to recede soon, residents are advised to take necessary precautions to prevent further damage. Schools and educational institutions in the area have been temporarily closed due to the flood. Despite the challenges, authorities are working diligently to provide aid to those affected. The situation is expected to return to normal once the flood is brought under control. The lack of retaining wall in the nearby river area is believed to be the primary cause of the flood, which has allowed flood waters to enter the village. The Kerala government on Thursday announced that all survivors from landslide-affected villages have been rescued. The death toll from Tuesday's disaster has exceeded 300. By Thursday afternoon, the recovery of additional bodies brought the official death count to 177. Around 170 people remain missing, according to official data. Among the 177 confirmed deceased, 81 are men, 70 are women, and the rest are children. So far, 98 bodies have been identified during a review meeting held in Kalpetta, Wayanad. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said, "All those who are alive have been safe in the last 3 days," the CM said. It is assumed that nobody is left to be safe in the villages of Mundakai, Joralmala, and Atamala. Rescue workers are looking into whether anyone got stranded individually. What is left is to retrieve bodies from the area. Rescue teams have also retrieved 92 body parts, primarily from the Chalia River in Malappuram's Nilambur area. Officials reported that 252 post-mortems have been conducted, including examinations of body parts. CM Vijayan reported that 29 students are missing from 2 local schools: the government lower primary school in Mundakai and the government higher secondary school in Joralmala. Citing revenue officials, Vijayan mentioned that 348 buildings were damaged due to the landslide. A protocol has been established for the cremations or burial of identified bodies and with additional freezers needed for storage. The Karnataka government has offered to provide the necessary equipment. Vijayan also visited Joralmala, where the army is constructing a Bailey bridge to access Mundakai village, where many bodies remain to be covered. Heavy rains triggered landslides in Wayanad on Tuesday, resulting in the deaths of over 200 people and injuring several hundred others. The Indian Army, National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, and local emergency teams have initiated a joint search and rescue operations to locate those believed to be trapped under the debris. On Thursday, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and KC Venugopal visited Kerala to evaluate the current rescue efforts. Instead of enrolling in courses run under the names of famous teachers, students should prioritize self-study, says Super 30 founder Anand Kumar in a message to students. He was responding to questions about the protest following the deaths of 3 civil service aspirants in Delhi's Old Rajinder Nagar area on July 27. During his interaction with ANI, Kumar also predicted that nearly 90% of coaching centers currently operating are likely to shut down within the next 10 to 15 years. So far, there has been very little effort towards offering high-quality online teaching. Once teams of dedicated teachers develop excellent online content and more effective pedagogy, coaching businesses will transition online due to lower input costs. Similarly, students will prefer online classes for their convenience. This is my predictions. It may be wrong. When asked about a recent tragedy in Delhi, Kumar said, "I am not against anyone, but I want to say to everyone that if you have made mistakes, then try to correct them. It is not justified to refuse to accept your mistake. Anyone can make a mistake, but one should correct their mistakes and act according to the law." He added that all teachers should have spoken out about the incident. The Super 30 founder father said that various coaching institutes misrepresent their faculties and urged the central and state government to establish a center where students' concerns can be addressed. Sending a message to students, Kumar said, "It's not necessary that only famous teachers are capable of teaching well. So don't focus on the teacher's name or their result. Check their content. Determine which teacher can explain things better to you. Select the teachers with whom you can connect more effectively. Also focus more on self-study. Once you master the process of self-study, no one can stop you from being successful." To recall 3 students, Sriya Yadav from Uttar Pradesh, Tanya Soni from Telangana, and Nevin Delvin from Kerala, died after rainwater gushed into the basement of Rose IAS study circle in Old Rasindar Nagar on the evening of July 27. As many as 14 people have lost their lives and 10 others have been injured due to severe overnight rains that caused flooding and house collapse in Uttarakhand, according to officials on Thursday. The heavy rainfall led to swollen rivers and landslides in several areas. As a result, the Kedarnath Yatra has been suspended due to hazardous weather conditions. The trekking routes have been obstructed by builders at Ghoraparav, Linkoli, Badi Linkoli, and Bhimbali. In response to the situation, the Uttarakhand government announced that the center has deployed 2 Indian Air Force helicopters, a Chinook and Mi-17, to assist with rescue operations. These actions follows a review by the Prime Minister's office regarding the severe weather impact. The state government said that 3 aviation turbine fuel tankers have been dispatched. It also mentioned that the Prime Minister's office has pledged full support to Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. Additionally, BJP President JP Nadda has assessed the situation, as noted in the statement. To assist the passengers stranded along the Kedarnath Yatra route, SDRF Uttarakhand personnel carried out rescue missions until late Thursday night, successfully evacuating 450 individuals from the Munkatiya region to Sonprayag. More than 2,200 passengers have been evacuated so far. The rescue operations will continue today as well, an SDRF spokesperson said. Due to the adverse weather conditions, an advisory has been issued for pilgrims in Rudraprayag who are heading to Kedarnath to wait until they get official updates on favorable weather and the reopening of blocked roads. Currently, the Mandakini and Alaknanda rivers in Rudraprayag district are flowing close to the danger mark. All district magistrates were instructed to work closely with local teams and ensure public safety without any compromise on disaster-related updates. Earlier, the Uttarakhand government issued a safety alert for Chardam Yatra pilgrims due to predicted heavy rainfall throughout the states. Officials have advised devotees to postpone their trips until weather conditions stabilize and to stay in secure areas. DGP Abhinav Kumar has warned pilgrims and travelers to begin their journeys only after taking necessary breaks and to adhere to the guidance of local authorities for safety. The Meteorological Department has issued an alert for heavy rain in most districts of Uttarakhand. Your safety is our priority, the DGP said. The Indian Air Force IAF will be hosting its largest ever multilateral exercise Tarang Shakti 24 starting this month, which is set to see participations from nearly 30 countries, including India, and 150 foreign and IAF aircraft, senior IAF officer said Wednesday. As per Air Marshal A.P. Singh, Vice Chief of the IAF, a total of 51 countries have been invited for the landmark event, of which 10 countries will participate with air assets and 18 countries will join in as observers. Along with India, another country will also likely to join the exercise, which will be held in 2 phases over August and September at Sular and Jodhpur respectively. He said the exercise does not have any specific theme or is not aimed at any particular nations. Since 2001, the IAF has participated in 91 international air exercises. Of these, 32 exercises were either held or hosted by the IAF. Addressing the media on Wednesday, Air Marshal Singh said that invitations have been extended to 51 countries. Aside from observer countries, Germany, France, Spain, and the UK are slated to participate in the first phase, while Australia, Bangladesh, Greece, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, and the US will participate in the second phase of the exercise. 70 to 80 air assets will participate in each phase of the exercises. 10 countries will participate with assets and 18 as observers, with 1 more country likely to join, he said, adding that the aim is to foster interoperability, share best practices, and showcase the indigenous defense industry. We also aim to strengthen our cultural and diplomatic relations. Cultural exchanges have been planned as it is practiced in all multilateral exercises, he said, adding that the overarching aim is to build mutual trust, explore avenues for interoperability, and showcase India's indigenous industry and powers. The first phase of the exercise from August 6 to 14 at Sulur in Tamil Nadu, where 32 foreign aircraft will participate, while the second phase of the exercise scheduled from September 1 to 14 at Jodhpur will see participations of 27 fighters, 2 refueling aircraft, 2 airborne early warning aircraft, and 4 C-130 Special Forces aircraft from foreign countries. The IAF will participate with over 40 aircraft, each in the 2 phases. There will be participations from the Navy in the first phase with its MiG-29K jets. A defense industrial exposition is also likely to be held in Sulur and Jaipur with 68 participants, including defense public sector undertakings, private firms, and startups. In the quest to showcase India's domestic defense industry, homegrown platforms such as the light combat aircraft, advanced light helicopter, and light combat helicopter are likely to be showcased in the exercise. Russian missile troops held drills on a disputed island which both Japan and Russia claim as their own. The Interfax news agency cited Russia's defense ministry as saying on Thursday. Soviet troops took control of the 4 islands of Japan's Hokkaido, known in Russia as the Kurils and in Japan as the Northern Territories, at the end of World War II, and they have remained in Moscow's hands since. The dispute has prevented the 2 countries from signing a peace treaty. Interfax said on Thursday that Russian troops had practices moving and camouflaging their vehicles on Matua Islands. Moscow said in May it would establish observation posts on the islands. More recently, Russia has pushed back against a growing military alliance between the United States and Japan, which it has cast as a stumbling block to the signing of any peace agreement with Tokyo. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said earlier this week that evidence that Japan was increasingly aligned with what he called the collective West could only be detrimental to our bilateral relations. US President Joe Biden told Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday that Washington is committed to defending Israel's security against all threats from Iran, the White House said after the assassinations of a top Hamas leader in Tehran. Biden, who was joined on the call by Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris, also emphasized the ongoing efforts to de-escalate broader tensions in the region, the White House said in a statement. The call between the leaders also came after Israel announced it had eliminated Hezbollah military commander Fort Shuk in Beirut. Netanyahu's government has not commented on the slaying of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, but the Palestinian militant group has blamed Israel. Biden reaffirmed his commitment to Israel's security against all threats from Iran, including its proxy terrorist group Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, the White House said in a readout of the president's call with Netanyahu. The president discussed efforts to support Israel's defense against threats, including against ballistic missiles and drones, to include new defensive U.S. military deployments, it said. Hamas, Hezbollah, and Yemen's Houthi rebels all receiving backing from Iran. Israel has been battling Hamas in the Gaza Strip since the group's attack on October 7 that resulted in the deaths of 1,197 people, mostly civilians, according to AFP tally based on official Israeli figures. Militants also seized 251 hostages, 111 of whom are still held captive in Gaza, including 39 the military says are dead. Israel's retaliatory campaign against Hamas has killed at least 39,480 people in Gaza, according to Hamas-run territory's health ministry, which does not give details of civilian and militant deaths. Israel has said the assassination of Suk was a response to deadly rocket fire from the Lebanese group last week on the annexed Golan Heights. Hezbollah has exchanged near-daily fire with Israel in South Lebanon since the Gaza war began. Ismail Haniyeh, a top leader of Hamas, was assassinated on Wednesday by an explosive device covertly smuggled into the Tehran guest house where he was staying, according to 7 Middle Eastern officials, including 2 Iranians and an American official. The bomb had been hidden approximately 2 months ago in the guest house, according to the 5 of the Middle Eastern officials. The guest house is run and protected by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and is part of a large compound known as Neshat in an upscale neighborhood of northern Tehran. Haniyeh was in Iran's capital for the presidential inaugurations. The bomb was detonated remotely, the 5 officials said. Once it was confirmed that he was inside his room at the guest house, the blast also killed a bodyguard. The explosion shook the building, shattered some windows, and caused the partial collapse of an exterior wall, according to the 2 Iranian officials. Members of Revolutionary Guard briefed on the incident. Such damage was also evident in a photograph of the building shared with the New York Times. Haniyeh, who had led Hamas' political office in Qatar, has stayed at the guest house several times when visiting Tehran, according to Middle Eastern officials. All of the officials spoke on the conditions of anonymity to share sensitive details about the assassinations. Iranian officials and Hamas say Wednesday that Israel was responsible for the assassinations. An assessment also reached by several U.S. officials who requested anonymity. The accusations threatened to unleash another wave of violence in the Middle East and upend the ongoing negotiations to end the war in Gaza. Haniyeh has been a top negotiator in the ceasefire talks. Israel has not publicly acknowledged responsibility for the killing, but Israeli intelligence officials briefed the United States and other Western officials on the details of the operations in the immediate aftermath, according to 5 Middle Eastern officials. On Wednesday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the United States had received no advance knowledge of the assassination plot. In the hours after the killing, speculations immediately focused on the possibility that Israel had killed Haniyeh with a missile strike, possibly fired from a drone or a plane, similar to how Israel had launched a missile on a military base in Isfahan in April. That missile theory raised questions about how Israel might have been able to evade Iranian air defense systems again to execute such a brazen airstrike in the capital. As it turns out, the assassination were able to exploit a different kind of gap in Iran's defenses, a lapse in the security of a supposedly tightly guarded compound that allowed a bomb to be planted and to remain hidden for many weeks before it would eventually be triggered. The April 1 Gaza strike that killed 7 international aid workers from the World Central Kitchen was the result of a mistaken identifications. An Australian government investigations found on Friday, confirming an IDF probe into the incident. Based on the information available to me, it is my assessment that the IDF strike on the WCK aid workers was not knowingly or deliberately directed against the WCK, wrote former Australian Defence Force Chief Air Chief Marshal, retired Mark Minskin, whom Canberra appointed to reinvestigate the strike that killed Australian aid worker Lazomi Francom, 43, and 6 others. Minskin's investigations found that lower-level IDF officers decided to strike the convoy after mistakenly believing it was being hijacked by Hamas territories, who were in fact unarmed local security guards. It appears that the IDF controls failed, leading to errors in decision-making and misidentifications likely compounded by level of confirmation bias, says Blinken, who visited Israel as part of the probe. The former military chief noted in his conclusions that the IDF probe was timely, appropriate, and, with some exceptions, sufficient. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in April called the incident a tragic case of our forces unintentionally hitting innocent people. It happens in war. We are thoroughly investigating it. We are in contact with the government, and we will do everything so that these things does not happen again, the Premier said. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi on April 3rd took full responsibility for the incident and issued a formal apology, saying, "I want to be very clear, the strike was not carried out with the intentions of harming WCK8 workers. It was a mistake that followed and misidentifications. At night during a war in very complex conditions, it shouldn't have happened." Israeli ground forces entered the Gaza Strip on October 27, following weeks of airstrikes in response to October 7 Hamas-led massacre, in which terrorists murdered some 1,200 people, wounded thousands more, and abducted more than 250 men, women, and children to the enclave. A red alert was issued last week after an EasyJet co-pilot fainted while ferrying nearly 200 passengers from the UK to Portugal. The flight managed to land safely in line with procedures at the Lisbon airport, with the co-pilot being met by paramedics on the runway. According to a report by The Independent, the incident took place while flight EZY2459 from Luton Airport in London was approaching its destinations. A rare red alert was issued after the medical emergency in order to safeguard the crew and passengers. A red alert incidentally calls for a mandatory halt of operations as a safety measure on a plane. Those embarking on the return journey to Luton were subsequently delayed by around 3 hours following the incident. EasyJet can confirm that the flight EZY2459 from Luton to Lisbon was met by paramedics upon landing, due to pilot member feeling unwell. The captain landed the flight routinely in line with procedures, and passengers disembarked normally. At no point was the safety of the flight compromised. The publication quoted an EasyJet spokesperson as saying, "The development comes mere days after an United Airlines flight was diverted after crew members began vomiting due to an onboard biohazard. Flight 2477 was forced to land in Washington, D.C. for a deep clean after a passenger became ill and triggered a chain reaction among fellow travelers and even the crew. I talked to the crew and it sounds like it's quite bad back there. The crew is vomiting and passengers all around are asking for masks," New York Post had quoted a crew member as saying in audio from the flight. Cases of pilots becoming sick in mid-air have also been reported in the past. Earlier in October 2023, both the captain and the co-pilots of British Airways flight took ill in the cockpit after reporting a foul odor. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.